crocodile is that a wag? Yes. Oh, I love her. Oh, I love her. Hello, folks. Hello, Mercedes. Admittedly, we are starting off our stream back on a bit of the wrong foot. I just finished eating dinner and I burnt my mouth on some pizza. So the top of my mouth just hurts terribly. But we make do, we suffer through it. Oh, and you may have noticed, we've got a new overlay. Check that out. Isn't that snazzy? I'd love some feedback and or criticism on whether it's like good, because I don't entirely know what I'm doing. This is my first time making something like this. But yeah, I think everything's pretty evenly set up. It looks pretty nice. Actually, here's a thought. I'm gonna take the game capture. We're gonna... Oh, wait, now I've got the size locked. Let's shrink it down to fit in the little window, hey? That way you can at least see a little bit more of what's going on. How's that? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, like I said, let me know if there's anything I can do to improve the overlay, whether that's visually or readability. I don't know. I'm still figuring things out. If you absolutely hate it and want to go back to no overlay, that's fine too. I'm still figuring out what the heck I'm doing. Alright, so we're going to start today off with just like a lot of wall flattening and ground flattening and just all sorts of different kinds of flattening. Because we have got to figure out how we're wanting to make the Clockwork town. So this side building, I want it to come over about, how do I get a good angle on this? Here, let's hop up here, and then I think even with here is where I want the further edge to be. So we're gonna go straight over, and we will just knock that back a little bit. Where I think just getting the square shape in, or rectangle shape or whatever, will at least be a start in figuring out how we want everything to, like, we can figure out the nice side of the terraforming and whatnot once we figure out what on earth we are doing in regards to, like, just the shape of builds. Because I think it'll be easier to build around the buildings, terraform with those in mind. I think we want to go down to about this, one more. This will be the level that is like the ground floor of the next bit. For now, let's just kind of bring it back flat. I hate when you burn the roof of your mouth, because it's like, you can't quite ice it the way you would with something else. So you just kind of have this constant stinging. Ugh, nasty stuff. Do not enjoy. Alright, so I think for now, just setting it back as far as the other one. I'd like to add some depth, whether that's bringing it forward or pushing it back. But for now, just kind of getting the shapes down. I believe that is into the water elevator, but that's fine. It will be covered up. Just gotta trust the process. And I am not saying that to you guys, I am saying it to me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, knock out this top bit so that we can reach up. Before stream, I was sitting down in the spider farm to try and repair all my tools. I need to get a better source of XP, because that is such a slow, miserable wait. Like, it is literally the worst. Let's see. Kind of shave back here. I think we should probably go up to the top of the cliff, and then if I want to push it back forward when I'm doing terraforming, I always have that option. Come on. Because, like, nothing I break has to be gone forever. If I want to put parts of the cliff back in, I can. For now, I really just need to figure out how I'm going to be placing different things. And for now, easiest way to do that is flatten out our wall. Alright, get up here. Oof. That would have been a game over if it weren't for our feather falling boots. Feather falling really is just everything. Oh. Where would I be in a world without Featherfall? Dead. Dead so many times. Alright. So that should be that segment done. We're just gonna knock that out for now. We can come back for it. And I think that is us up to the top of the cliffside. So we're gonna hop over here, clean this up. We'll worry about this section later. Again, this is all just kind of getting us started, getting our foot in the door, so to speak. Alright. So, we can have our first building kind of set here. And I probably want this set back by 1, so I don't have to worry about that getting in the way. But let's see, what did I want to do? Where am I placing one on the other side? So, let's go ahead hard to get judgment on where I'm placing it to. Let's fly out wide. So this one, you want to kind of get up by this little knock in the wall right here. Okay, so it's over a little bit to about kind of like, so if we are standing here, I believe this is where we want the far end to land. And this is mostly guesstimation, but we just kind of need to figure out how we're spacing all this. Alright, let's see if we can't reach up there. Now, what level do we want to dig this to? Let's use a little bit of 3D magic. I want this one to be kind of higher, so probably even just to here works. And if we want to go a little bit lower, we always can. That's always going to be an option for us. Oop. For a second, that cow made me think it was a zombie, but that literally makes no sense. It's daylight. A zombie would burn. Goodness! My brain is just as scrambled as usual. Nothing new here. Yeah, we're definitely going to need to do a little bit of work to blend this all in a little bit more nicely. Make sure it all looks natural and kind of hides into the mountain correctly. But for now, we're just kind of getting the shapes in, figuring out what we're doing. Where are we again? Nope, that's... I want to go... I want to go down one more, at least for now. Again, I can always change my mind. I need to just stop being so precious with things and just loosen up a little bit. Nothing is permanent until I want it to be, and it becomes permanent by me not touching it. So I just gotta go for it. I wonder if these are about the same. Ow. So this one's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're both definitely thinner than the middle one, but that's kind of what I want. It kind of helps give it a more tapered look. Does this count as part? No, I'm gonna not count that as part of the shape because I don't. No, I did on the other side, did I? I'm gonna count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this one's a little bit bigger. How big is this central one so I can kind of get a vibe for things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think... Do I want these to be roughly the same size, or am I happy with the one in the cliff being thinner? I'll figure that out later. For now, I have noticed that I kind of neglected a big chunk of this dig out. I'm gonna come back in here and work on that. Wonder if I can... Let's go like this to give me access. And we can just kind of come in here, go like that, and we have access to this chunk. Here we go. Switch for scaffolding. I've been putting this off because I knew it would make everything look messy and nasty, and I'm scared of dying while the world looks like shit. But if I just put this off forever, then it's never going to go from looking kind of cool to looking awesome. Like, I can't wait forever to avoid the portion where things are just going to naturally look garbage. It's inevitable. Everything has to look garbage before it can look fun. Alright, knock this out. Float down. Do a quick munch. If I went back by 2, how close would it be to this wall? I could probably go back by 2. But I don't know. I can't decide. Forgot how we haven't finished that out because of the stupid mangrove swamp just not appearing for me. I'm just gonna keep procrastinating that part because it's infuriating. Alright, I do think I want to shave this back too. I can bring it back in if it looks too cluttered, but I just think it'll help. 1, 2. We'll just go down even with this wall to keep it kind of level for now. Yep. Even though I'm probably not going to leave this stone in that particular spot, probably, I don't know, just kind of patching it back in as might go smooths out my brain a little bit. Makes things feel a little bit less messy. Is that silly and absurd? Yes. But it's my truth, and I will speak it. Alright, I think that's the last of the... Oh, I was gonna say that's the last of the dirt in this strip, but I was entirely wrong. Alrighty. I don't even know if these, like, side entrances are going to, like, actually connect into the building. But, like, sometimes functionality just is not as important as aesthetic. And maybe it will. Maybe it'll connect to those halls that we're gonna have shooting off to the sides. I don't know. Maybe they won't even have entrances. Maybe these will just be clock faces with windows or something. I don't know. Everything is still pretty up in the air. The design is still being fiddled about with, but we will figure things out one way or another. Alright, so that more or less smooths out this space. And this is the question that I'm wondering is, should I try and keep them in a similar palette or use different woods in order to create more variety? Speaking of, I've actually been thinking of coming back in here and changing out some of the gears for birch, again, for that variety. Because the tricky thing about using wood is it can get too brown, and I don't want it to be completely monotone. I do want color variety and interest and just visual appeal to things. Like, I don't want it all to blend together. But that's kind of hard to do when you're working with a very heavily wooden palette. I don't know, man. I do not know. We're not going to worry too much about getting the stuff in place right now. Again, today is mostly just about making the areas which will become builds. I hate this big old clunk right here. This just is not gonna look good. But we're gonna figure that out later. It is not our current concern. We're just getting ourselves some ways up. Right. Originally, I was just gonna like stick a waterfall coming down through here, but like when I was planning on that, I was just gonna leave the terrain, and I'm just no longer content to just leave the terrain as it is. It's cool, but it's not good enough. So the question is, how do we line this up? One of the blocks that I used in the sketch to line things up, I destroyed while I was clearing things out, which kind of complicates things a little bit. Okay, here, it seems like it's off to the side of the spire, so it would be about here that this second one comes into place. But it's kind of down a little bit. It's not directly level with this. I would say down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 maybe.
Oh, Sadie, do you want out? Do you need freedom?
Alas, Miss Sadie tired of my company, and so now we are alone again. Alright, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're just gonna kind of guess at that for now. It's probably not where we want it to land, but we're figuring things out. How many blocks over does this go? About 3 more, I think. 1, 2, 3. I lost my spot because of the haste. 1, 2, 3. And it went 1 more. That's fine. Gotta switch to my fortune pick because Silk is starting to struggle. Alright, so I think we're just lining everything up to about here so that we know where this block down the side is gonna go. Obviously, gonna need to fiddle with the terrain, but we're just kind of figuring out the shapes for now. Let's go here. We wanted it to come down to this level. At least we're in range of the haste bacon. We're in range of the haste bacon here, so that makes things a little bit more doable. How much further does this go? Just a little bit, so to about here-ish. Cool, cool, cool. Shave this. Open it up. Alright. I'm leaving a lot of these areas unlit at the moment because I figure if I sleep, it should be fine, but I might regret that later. Well, we'll just hope that I don't. That's the same thing as putting in effort, right? Just hoping things turn out regardless. I mean, that's what I did in school, and I always passed my tests, so how bad could it be? Honestly, everybody's like, oh, you were a gifted kid in school, that's so wonderful. I know the conversation about gifted kid burnout has become more widespread as of late, but like, I don't think people realize that being a gifted kid in the American school system, it's not even good while you're a gifted kid. Like, before the burnout. Like, it seems good, and you certainly enjoy it, because you're praised a bunch, but you're not learning anything. You're just using pattern recognition to, like, either just kind of work your way through tests without learning, or just using information that you already picked up from reading. You're not learning, you're not expanding your mind, because moving forward a grade is something that you almost never do, ever. Like, I was above average in all of my grades in grade school. This is not bragging. I don't claim to be intelligent now. All of that's gone. Brain completely empty these days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'd like this to be a little wider. Which direction though? But anyway, like, you don't move up a grade in most schools, even if you're a grade above in what you know. You just have to keep doing stuff that you already know the answers to and just not learning, which means you're not developing the skills to learn, which means when you get to the point where you are learning, you're just absolutely floundering. It's a total mess. Alright. I want to shave this hill a little bit to give me a bit more of an even area. This is not what I expected it to look like up here. More trees than I expected, for one. I'm gonna just block this. Oh, that didn't work. Block this off so I don't accidentally wander down there. So before I can start kind of flattening out this area for building, I definitely need to clear some of these trees out of the way. I completely forgot that my pockets are just absolutely full up to the brim. Let's head back down and do a quick chest dump, eh? I really need to get around to getting this sorting system up and functioning. All I gotta do is put all the items in to, like, do the sorting. But, like, I don't want to. That's so much effort. I think this is the one that I set to be oak, so I can just do that. That's fine. Nobody's gonna... That's not gonna come back to be inconvenient later, probably. Boy. Honestly, I just really need to sit down and work things out in a way that is actually gonna solve my problems instead of just prolong them. But that sounds intimidating. And if I prolong them, then I don't have to deal with them today, which, if you think about it, is almost like not having to deal with them at all, which is almost like having a solution. So, hooray! Yeah, I'm kind of a dysfunctional mess, but that's okay. We make do. I blame Tumblr. Anyway, sticks. How am I doing on sticks? I can probably just turn that into wood, turn that into planks. Okay, that's almost enough. I'll just grab one more log to get the rest of that. And it looks like it's dark outside. I don't know if it's thunder or night, but either way, we take a snooze. Hold on a second, folks. Alrighty, let's see. So, we're gonna grab a bunch of that dirt, because I think what we may need to do is, I thought we were mostly gonna have to flatten, but we may need to kind of build over some of that area, because it kind of goes down much more soon than I expected. So we may, in fact, need to do a little bit of bulking up instead, in order to get the buildings that we want in place. This is probably the level we're gonna have things set to. Let's see. Probably safest to start with just clearing the trees. It'll at least let me see more clearly what on earth I'm doing. These leaves are just kind of making it hard for me to even visualize what to do next. So let's just clear these out for a good range. And I'll be able to use it to, oh, pardon me, do more builds. Nasty burps. Oh, hello? There is a trapped doggy! Rescue mission, rescue mission. All building and flattening and everything must stop. It is rescue mission time. Bones. I definitely have some. I just gotta swoop. Bones, 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 bones. Bones. That's probably more than enough. Unless it is a very stubborn doggy. Hello? Hello, doggy? I'm coming. Let's grab that so we can make apples. Doggy? Hello, I thought you were a skeleton at first. Oh yeah, I forgot that the achievements were glitched for me. You're free, you're no longer trapped. Oh dude, does this connect down to the caves below? Oh, that's so wild, I didn't realize that. Ah, that was not what I intended to do, but that's fine. So delighted that we have rescued that doggy. One of these days, I just need to go through and just re-get all the achievements that I had. Otherwise, it's gonna be, like, super annoying. I don't know, it just bothers me. That could have been dangerous. Let's get a quick munch, munch, munch in here. Is it thunder or just normal rain? I think it's just normal rain. Get a little bit of torch down here. Oh, hello! Hello, puppy! I need a name for this dog. Off they go. Grand adventure. I wonder how long that dog was stuck in that sad little 1x1 hole. All alone. Just, I think they were even exposed to the rain and the sun. You must have been so miserable, puppy. Oh, tragic. Heartbreaking. Alright. I think we've almost got enough cleared out that we can start kind of smoothing out the ground. Gonna grab a little bit more, buy some time for more leaves to decay. Okay. So where's the level we want it to be at? I think we were going kind of like this level, maybe? Oh, hello, Dougie. I may change it later, but let's go up one. And we'll just start by getting these layers out of our way. I love haste. Delicious. My favorite effect. Alright, puppy, I'm gonna seal those off. You're gonna want to get up here. Or else you'll go back to being trapped. Alrighty. Let's just pull this across like so. Hello, piggy. Alright. So, I haven't seen the new Mario movie, but I did see an interview where Jack Black was wearing like a Bowser onesie, and that was very entertaining. Honestly, like, I know it's been said to death, but like, not thrilled about Chris Pratt. But like, Jack Black does not fall under the umbrella of actors being shoehorned into voice acting because they're well known. Jack Black is a voice actor at this point. He knows how to voice act, and he is absolutely welcome in my opinion, any animated film he wants to be in. Because he, like, actually gives a shit. He doesn't see it as acting, but worse. He, like, actually cares about the characters he's playing, and actually makes an effort, unlike some people. Wonder who that could be. Anyway. Lots of stuff going on. Excuse me. Speaking of movies, though, what was up with that Cats movie? Like, I've listened to the music before. Not from that movie, but from, like, other recordings. And the Cats musical, it's not very logical. It's a very nonsense story. And, like, it's not even really a story. It's just goofing and gaffing and a wild adventure and a bunch of cats singing for almost no reason. Like, there's technically a reason they're all together and singing, but like, it's only really there to explain why they're singing and is not really central. It's not a story-focused theater production. It is all about the characters. Which, first of all, makes it the strangest possible choice for what to adapt into, like, a play. I mean, not into a play. To adapt into, like, a theater performance. Sorry, not a theater performance. To adapt into, like, a movie. Because, like, movies are usually, and especially in the case of, big budget Hollywood movies, almost always they are very story driven. Characters may be very important, but their importance is conveyed through the story itself. So, Cats just isn't really meant for Hollywood. It is not built that way. Like, maybe I could imagine a movie of, like, an indie group doing it, but, like, Broadway, they are not meant for cats. Much too high production. Second of all, like, I really like the costumes of the stage productions. Like, if you just look up any of the stage productions, like, they look so funky. Like, they look vaguely retro. Instead of, like, trying to look like real cats, they have, like, these, hairy leg warmers and these big fluffy collars around their neck and, like, this wild face paint. There's not really the uncanny valley problem because they're not supposed to be cats exactly. They're people in wild costumes being cat, like they are cats according to the story, but the costumes are not worried about that. The costumes are not worried about how to make realistic cat. It's how do we give them the vibe of cats while also just looking absolutely wild in the most fun ways. Also, they use practical effects, which a lot of the time just looks better. This is no offense to people who work in CGI. Big reason why practical effects tend to work better is because practical effects departments have unions and CGI does not. So corporations can pay for very cheap work, which usually returns very cheap products. So, yeah. Generally, I'm more a fan of practical effects, if only for that reason. But, like, the music in the Cats movie is somehow worse, even though it's supposed to be the same songs. And, why did they think that this was a good idea for the first Hollywood musical? And at what point did they not realize it's time to give up on this garbage? Like, how did they get through every arduous step of the Hollywood movie-making process? Like production, pre-production, script writing, costuming. How did they get through all of that and never once look at what they were doing and say, hey, this is kind of terrible? Maybe we should either completely rethink it or just not do it. Like, how was that never brought up? Like, I cannot imagine it took them until it was made to realize how bad it was. Like, I want to bring this down another layer, but we need to go back down to our bed. I just don't understand how it got that far before being canceled, because there are much more appealing movies that died in production hell. Why Cats? Who felt so strongly that that musical deserved to see the light of day that they fought for it? Like, I can't imagine it was out of love for it. It had to be, like, because they somehow thought it would get them a lot of money and were very wrong. But, like, who thought that movie was worth fighting for? It was so bad. Then again, I'm just regurgitating, just gossip and garbage from, oh, how many years ago? It wasn't even this, oh boy, now I feel the weight of time on my brain. This is why you don't talk about things that are out of date. It's not about being trendy, it's about the crushing weight of time passing. I've actually been thinking about developing my own video game. Nothing like super grand in scope, in large part because I can't do 3D modeling, so it would absolutely be a 2D game, and it would probably be in Game Maker Studio because I don't know how to code. I just know how to connect the little thingies to make the stuff happen. I can't explain Game Maker Studio, but it is simultaneously got coding, but also very much not coding, but also everything is still confusing anyway. Game Maker Studio is lovely because it is free, asterisk, purchased stuff does exist, but like, it's mostly free. And that's honestly more than you can say for a lot of things these days. Sigh. Anyway, my point is, like, I want to make a game, but boy is it challenging. It takes so much work to make like a full set of animation sprites for just one character. I've done a turnaround and a walk cycle in every single direction, but like, I haven't done a run cycle, which unfortunately would look terrible if it was just a fast-forwarded walk cycle. I know that much from animation. But then I've got to make the backgrounds, and I've got to make all of the other characters and creatures, and like, it's wild how people get so frustrated over either a game's quality or even more frustrating, a high quality's the time it takes for a high quality game to be made. Because like, it's so much work. Like, I try to make my own games and then I look back at something like Undertale, which was a life-changing experience to play, and I think like, this dude did it all on his own. How? Like, Toby Fox is he's incredible. All indie developers that do things either with a very small studio or by themselves are amazing, but like, Toby Fox changed my life with Undertale, and he did it all by himself. Like, dude, what? And that's why I don't get impatient for chapters of Deltarune, because like, I get it, man. I get how hard it can be. And I also like can understand that like, there are people who say like, oh well, he's made a lot of money from Undertale, so he could just hire people. But as a creative, I also know that like, it can be difficult or even incorrect to have other people help you with a project, especially if it's one you care a great deal about. Because the thing is, like, even if you are in charge of everything, even if you run everything, it's not going to be the same as if you did it yourself. Like, you can tell somebody, okay, try and match my style, I want this sprite and this sprite and this sprite, I want these colors, and I want them to have these animations, and I need them by this time. And like, yeah, they'll probably deliver you a sprite. It could be even really good if you hire somebody who's very intelligent and knows how to do stuff. But like, just because of how people are, aka creative and also not all the same person, like, eventually at least one thing will not turn out the way you would have done it. And while that's fine in some situations, like, there is an absolute beauty to collaboration with people. But if you want something that you create to be like 100% your creation, sometimes it just isn't right to pass it off to somebody else, knowing that it's going to turn out different from how you would have done it. Good, maybe, or possibly even better than you would have done it, but that personality and emotion and self that is put into a work, like, sometimes that's more valuable than getting things done quickly. And honestly, like, I absolutely can tell that, like, Deltarune is very clearly something that Toby Fox cares a great deal about. Like, it was in development, I believe, before Undertale, but at the very least, the concept was being worked on at the same time. But, like, the concept of being under development isn't the same thing as the game being in the process of being made. So, like, I totally get why it takes so long. And he also makes his own music, and the music is always gorgeous, and it's like, dude, like, he is, like, a modern-day Renaissance man. Like, that's the word they used for somebody who, like, had, like, a million talents, and if that isn't Toby Fox, I don't know, man. Like, he has so many talents, and he uses it all to create just, like, these really incredible games, and he can take as long as he needs, and I will be thrilled when they come out. Silksong, on the other hand, please, please, please come out soon. I'm dying, I am screaming. Jokes aside, I do respect the time it takes for them to make Silksong, but also, like, please. My children are starving. I need Silksong content. Okay. I still feel like it should go down a little flatter, but I don't want to stop being a tall mountain. It's a good height. I just need to push this out, and the question is, how far back do I want it to come? I want it to go back a decent distance. I think the easiest manner of doing it is going to be to, just to start with, make a big ol' rectangle to fill out, and then I can blend it into the rest of the mountain later. make it look like proper terraforming as a... Goodbye. Pit cap, pit cap. I'm not rescuing him. He's not a doggy, so I don't care. Chicken. So I think probably out to here is a good start. But I guess we're gonna see. Oh, I'm gonna need to put down so many torches to make this not completely pitch black. That's fine. I hopefully have enough dirt from all of the hollowing out I've done of other areas, but honestly, who knows? This is gonna be a big space. How far to the side do I want this to come? It's kind of hard to decide. The side, ho 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 ho! Let's not worry about these ones that are in range for now and just focus on getting this outer border in place. Okay. I can go further. Yeah, man. There we go. Let's go 1, 2, 3. We can extend it out to the side if need be, but like this will just give us a good starting point, I think. Keeping it lit up enough that there's not going to be mobs is gonna be a little bit annoying. But I'd really rather there not be mobs underneath, so... Let's see. I just want to join this back up for now, and we'll figure it out. Howdy, it's raining so hard where I'm at. Oof, stay dry! Speaking of weather, it's been it's been snowing like crazy where I live. Which is really weird because normally it is warm by now, and like spring. But for a second I thought I saw a skeleton, but it was just birch and cows. But like, there's like legitimate big old snowdrifts outside, and it's like, dude, it's supposed to be spring. Weather, my beloved. Oh, by the way, Felix, what do you think of the new overlay? I want honest opinions. I'm trying to decide whether or not I like it. So I'm trying to decide if it needs to be changed, or if I should go back to having none, or just what. I have no idea what I'm doing. Snow in spring? Yep. I used to get snow much later in spring where I used to live, but because I was closer to the mountains. But like, at this point it's just like, come on. Let me have a little bit of warmth. At least don't make it dangerous for me to drive home. It's supposed to be spring. I should not be fearing for my life on the roads. Goodness gracious. Alright. This should be giving us some good space. Let's see. Oh, also, is the lower resolution making it easier to watch, or is it still kind of rough? And if it is, I am sorry. I tried. Let's see. Come over and get this one knocked out. And this is also inside the border. Let's see, It is so hard to know where to light up so that things don't get dangerous down here. A little plain overlay, but looks okay overall. What can I do to improve it? Because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, does it take up too much space? What do you think would make it look more interesting? Because, like, I don't want it to be... I was worried that if I did too much detail, it's making it easier to watch. I just think my internet is shit. Well, I'm glad that it's easier to watch. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing in regards to the overlay. I didn't want to make it complicated because I didn't want it to be distracting, but I also didn't know how much detail would look good, and I had no idea how to design it. I just was kind of experimenting with this one, so if there's anything I can do to improve it, that is worth researching. Let's see, Something is stuck in my teeth. How do I get rid of it? I'm glad it's not lagging as bad. Yeah. I got it out! I don't even know what that is. Ew. Nasty. Okay, how do I make sure this is well lit? I think the first thing to do is going to be to kind of make sure I can place things. Maybe down here a little bit. Even down into this cave a little ways. Well, this is a cool little space. A little hidey hole. Yippee for not stuck in teeth. Yippee! But yeah, if there's anything I can do to improve the overlay, like making it more interesting or just better, I am not afraid of criticism. I am a big little fish. I have very sturdy feelings. I just have no idea what I'm doing and could use advice. Okay, I'm gonna knock that out. I guess the only real way to know where I need torches is to put in the dirt and just see what areas are dark. But I don't want to deal with mobs. Nothing for it, I guess. Let's do a quick munch. And we're gonna go around the outside. And let's see, can I... We'll just leave that for now. It's fine. We'll start by doing this layer, which is up top, because it is accessible. So Felix, how was your day? I do like how it looks like window view, I guess. Nod, nod. Makes brain go, good. There's definitely improvements I can make. I just need to figure out what the improvements are first. But I'm glad that it makes the brain go, good. Did I already ask how college was, or was I about to ask and then forgot? My day was good, how about you? I've been asleep all day. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, I think. Maybe I haven't, I have a terrible memory. Oh, hold on, we got a doggy trying to get inside.
I'm coming! Hello? Oh, hi! Oh, you coming too?
The doggy at the door was Mr. Otis, but then Miss Sadie saw the door was open and was like, yes, me too, me too. So I have 2 doggies. Does Otis want to go back out? You don't want to be here if Sadie's here? Alright, here I come.
Bye, Stinker.
In her house. Mr. Otis is so indecisive. Also, I was texting Charlie earlier and I have a question for which way do you use the time? 24-hour time or 12-hour? At work, I use 24-hour because that's what they told us to write things in. But in my day-to-day life, I use 12-hour.
Oh, that's such a big yawn, Miss Sadie.
You surprised me with your big yawn. Rub your cheeks. College is going pretty good. That's good. That's good. What are you staring at? She's staring at me. Got some nasty eye goobers. Let me get those. Charlie was talking about how weird it is that we use 12 time. I think it's definitely more common in America than in other places, which is fair. I use 24-hour time at all times. It's fair enough, and it probably makes more sense when once you're used to it, but I am not used to it, so I'm always just doing math whenever people use 24-hour time, like, okay, so they said 17 minus 12, okay, 5 p.m. And like, I feel a little bit silly, but it's kind of like the metric system. Like, maybe the metric system is easier to use objectively, but my brain knows the feet system. And so the feet system are what my brain say. I say as if I even know most of the foot system. I know inches, feet, and yards, but once it starts getting up into like, how many yards in a mile? I'm like, I don't know. Don't ask me. I can't eyeball anything. I usually make an inch way too big and a foot way too small. Sizes just don't work with my brain. Sizes, numbers, whatever. Whew. Oh, big yawn. Oh yeah, I get those. Doesn't feel like it's easier for them to use 24-hour. Yeah. Get out of my way, dude. So annoying. Oh, hold on. I got an internet DM. Hello. Who is it? It is a roleplay group. That is not urgent. Alrighty, where are we? Her face is so round and her eyes are so leaky. Like, I don't know if I've ever posted pictures of Sadie, but like, her face is just so poorly constructed. You can look at her and know that God did not make that creature. She was made by man, because her eyeballs do not fit in her skull. Like, they bulge out so much that she's constantly got tears running down her cheeks, which is semi-common for pugs, but because she's a mix, her eyes are just as buggy as pugs, but her skull is even less fit for them. So they're just like bulging out of her head like little balloons. So she's constantly got like, she's got full-on stains under her eyes. So like, she constantly looks like she's in the middle of a crisis. And it's very cute, but also like, poor baby. Imagine if your eyes were constantly watering because like they were just too big for your head. Literally bug-eyed, just constantly. Poor girl. I like knowing off the top of my head what it is on 24-hour, like with friends' time zones, more specifically when it's 12 at night for them. Oh, that's true. It's good to know your friends' time zones so that you can scream at them for staying up late and not taking care of themselves properly. I do that a lot with my friends. I like memorize their time zones specifically so I can say, hey, why are you up right now? Go to bed! And they can be like, no, I want to chat with you. And I'm like, no, you need to sleep! Friends must rest. It is the code. Oh, lovely. I can run my thumb down along her tear track and it'll come away wet. I don't think it negatively impacts her life, but it does make me feel so sad for her because it seems so uncomfortable. Poor girl. Oh, we got night coming in. Where's my bed? It's not in my pockets. Where did I put it? It's easier to tell for you since you're literally an hour ahead of me. Okay, here's the thing. I always mix up ahead and behind. Because, like, ahead as in I'm an hour in the future, or ahead as in my number is higher up, like, or lower. Yeah. Like, so like that always, whenever people say like, oh, meet me an hour ahead of this, I'm like, just say the number, just say the number, just say the number. But I know what you mean in this case. Hello? Or are you having trouble breathing? Sometimes she makes little wheezes because being part pug means breathing is a little bit harder for her. I think, or at least hope, that her beagle half, because it makes her snoot longer than a pug's, makes it easier than for a pug, because I know pugs have a really hard time breathing. But she's got like, she doesn't have a completely flat face, she do's got a snoot. Are you burying yourself? Do you need help? Come here, let me bury you. Buried in the blankies. But yeah, like, she still, like, has a little bit of, like, a nasally sound when she breathes. So, although I do think she has it easier than, like, a full-bred pug, I still worry. I want her to be healthy. She's my baby girl. I love when she moves around under the blankets and there's just, like, this little, oh, hello, yes you. Poking your head out. Scritch, scritch, scritch. So lovely. Do you want me to bury you again? Tuck, tuck, tuck. All puppies deserve to be healthy. This is so true. I always feel so bad for animals who are like born with difficulties because of how they were bred. Like dachshunds. I have a dog who's half dachshund, and like they struggle just because their backs are so long that gravity literally just like pulls down on it and makes it way more likely that their spine will become unaligned just because of how long they are, which is a shame because the longness is very funny and cute, but it also makes their lives much more difficult, especially if they're not well taken care of. And then there's pugs who are infamously, because of how flat their face is, they have a lot harder time breathing. But like, Sadie's a rescue, so it's not my fault. She has a snub face. I'm a very big fan of rescue. But like, my hope is that her beagle side kind of helps balance out at least, or somewhat alleviates some of her symptoms. It's hard. I worry about her a lot. Like, she seems fine, but, you know, it's easy to worry, especially when you know that a breed is inclined to natural health issues. Otis, I worry about him a lot because he's a Dachshund Beagle mix, or at least we think so. Again, he was adopted, and unlike Miss Sadie, he has not had a DNA test, so I have no idea for certain, but we believe, again, Dachshund Beagle, which does mean he has a very long body and stubby legs. So it's like, the possibility of a herniated or unaligned disc is a lot higher for him, and I worry because he really likes to jump. Even though I have doggy stairs for my bed, he just completely ignores them. He knows how to use them. I saw he used them the first couple of times when I got them, but then he just decided, no, I like jumping on and off. And it's like, dude, please, your back is like a big old noodle of uncooked spaghetti. You are going to snap it one of these days. Especially now that he's getting into senior age, I worry about him so much. And on occasion, he'll get like a... what's the word? Not panic attacks. Seizures. On occasions, he gets seizures, and that's always terrifying and heartbreaking, and there's less and less we can do as he's getting older, because, you know, that's just what happens when a dog gets into seniority. But it's still it's still scary, and it's like, dude, stop being so stubborn. Just use the stairs. I know you like to jump big, and I know you can jump big, but maybe please don't, because I want you to be around longer. And he's just like, no. If I want to hurl myself over the back of the couch so that I have a fractionally faster time of running out to scream at the door, then I will hurl myself over the couch onto the hardwood floor like I am a little fuzzy missile. Honestly, he is so... He moves around like he is much younger than he is, which in part, I'm glad that he feels fit. I'm glad he has the energy for that. But also in part, dude, please, please, you're old. Be gentle on your joints. I love you too much. He's a good boy. Even if he came into my room and immediately wanted to leave again.
Oh, look at Sadie's little toesies poking out the bottom of the blankie.
I love animals. Like, there are a lot of dog breeds that I really like, and although I would love to have them, I'm a very firm believer of adopt, don't shop. Like, no judgment to people who do go to a breeder, unless it's like a backyard breeder who mistreats their dogs, in which case, full judgment. But like, if you get them from a reputable breeder who treats all of the dogs well and does everything ethically, that's fine. I'm not gonna judge you. But personally, I just have to adopt. There's so many, like, wonderful, sweet dogs in shelters who just have no home and deserve a home, because, like, they didn't ask to be homeless. They didn't ask to not have a family. And many of them are so sweet and wonderful. And it's just kind of heartbreaking how, like, you know, it's just kind of like, it doesn't matter if a dog is wonderful, it's just kind of a roll of the dice on whether they get a good life or not. But yeah, there are some breeds where I'm like, oh, I would love that animal. An example that isn't technically a dog, but fits to this whole thought concept of, I sure would love them, but I'm probably never gonna get one because I put adoption first and they're not adoptable very often, would be Sphinx cats. Those little naked baby cats, the Binguses. I love them. They look so funny. They're so cute, but because they're such a rare breed, they are very rarely in shelters, and also less because of rarity, but also because, like, without a coat, if they're abandoned, they're less likely to survive, just because of their health issues, which is absolutely heartbreaking. But, like, as much as I love Binguses, I will probably never have one of my own, because I prioritize shelter cats above, oh, that's a cool breed. Something similar goes for things like Shiba Inus. Oh, they're so cute, they're so funny. And Corgis, oh, what silly little round dogs. But, like, I prioritize adoption and rescue, which does mean that some of my dream dogs I will likely never get, but that's my own choice, and I'm content with that choice. One breed that I really, really would like, and I am actually fairly likely to be able to get via adoption, is actually pit bulls. They have such a nasty reputation, but they're just such big babies. Like, if you don't abuse them, they are very defensive, yes, but they're very sweet dogs. They're just big ol' cuddlebug, silly, snorty hippos. Like, just like any dog, they can be trained to be aggressive or trained to be sweet. And they get such a bad reputation. It makes me so sad. Did you know pit bulls were literally bred to be bait in bullfighting? That's where the bull part comes from. Like, they would be sent in to attack a bull and enrage it until it killed them. And also, bear baiting, I think? Like, they would basically be made to fight against bears until they were killed. Which is, like, the most tragic origin story for any breed ever. And they're such big sweet potatoes. There's no evidence that they're actually dangerous, and in fact, research has shown that they are often above Labradors in how gentle and sweet and good they are for families. I feel bad for how bad they get treated. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And like there are people who are like, oh, we're gonna ban pit bulls from our country because they're dangerous, evil, killing machines. And then you'll go on Instagram and see a picture of a pit bull in a tutu crying because he can't get kisses from his mommy before she goes to work. It's so fucked up. So true. People are so mean to some breeds that just do not deserve their reputation. Like, yes, pit bulls can be aggressive. All dogs can be aggressive. But like, generally, if they are well trained, that aggression will only be turned towards people who are attacking their families, because it isn't a defensive aggression. And like, that's typically considered a good trait for a dog to have. But when it's pit bulls, oh no, they're crazy and evil and mean. They just want to protect their families, or have been used in dogfighting and are lashing out because they don't know how to be gentle. Like, they are one of the most abused breeds, which is insane because they're one of the sweetest and friendliest, and it's just heartbreaking. Things like dogfighting make me so mad because, like, if you have to gamble, there are so many things to gamble on, like, that aren't poor animals being forced to mutilate and kill each other. Like, if you insist on watching fighting to gamble, you can gamble on MMA fights, and those are thrilling. Martial arts fights are awesome. But, like, unconsenting dogs being forced to end each other's lives so you can gamble, it disgusts me how some people can just live with themselves when they're contributing to that kind of thing. Ugh. Let's move on to happier topics, eh? I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but adopting Sadie was kind of a wild experience. So I went to the shelter because I knew I wanted a dog. With my family moving out, I wanted a dog of my own because I wasn't going to be around Otis and Schofield anymore. Like I've mentioned before, I do live with them again now, but I was very close with Otis, and I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be apart from him, I need a new dog buddy to keep me company or I'll be very sad. So I go to the shelter. They give me a little notepad so I can write down the names of any dogs that I'm interested in, like, having a little meetup with out in their yard. And I walk through, I see a couple dogs who are interesting, and all of them are adorable, and many of them are very sweet and very friendly and go up to the edge of the thing. I'm limited a bit by, like, I know I need a small dog. I know I need somebody who's a little bit more lazy to match my energy. So I go through, I find a list of dogs that I'd like to meet, and while I'm going through, a lady who works there stops me and says, "Have you met Sadie? Sadie is so lovely." Except they didn't say Sadie because her name wasn't Sadie. They said Gwyneth. Her name was Gwyneth. And they were like, "Have you met Gwyneth? Everybody here loves Gwyneth. Is she on your list?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I noticed her while I was going through. She's on my list." And so I go up front to talk to the lady about which dogs I should meet up with. And this lady, a completely different lady, she stops and says to me, "Oh, I just noticed you have Gwyneth on your list." Everybody here loves Gwyneth. She's so sweet. She's been here for 2 weeks. But all of us here at the shelter just adore her. And so I go out to meet with the first, and I was like, okay, so clearly Gwyneth is well liked, so I might as well meet with her first. And this goofy looking potato comes out to meet me in the yard, and because she's so short, I sit down to kind of get level with her so she doesn't feel intimidated by my height. And she comes wandering over to me with this little happy waddle immediately. Does not even stop to sniff me, does not stop to see if I'm dangerous or threatening or anything. Flops down on my lap with a big ol' smile and just is like, okay, we're buddies now. And it was just the cutest thing. And I patted her and I kissed her and I played with her. And I didn't even want to meet with any of the other dogs. I knew it was the perfect fit. Gwyneth was my baby, so I called my brother over to come to the shelter and meet her, and he was like, oh my gosh, yeah, she's great. So I didn't even bother meeting any of the other dogs because, like, I just knew it was perfect. I knew that she was my girl. I don't remember when I decided on the name Sadie. I didn't dislike the name, I just didn't feel like it was the perfect fit. I wanted something that felt like just perfect, so I kept thinking on it for a while and settled on Sadie for some reason. One of the oldest pictures I have of her was the first day when we came home together, and she's just sitting on my lap, barely able, like, she does not want to be an inch away from me, and just, like, if anybody ever tells you dogs can't smile, they can. Like, she wasn't panting, her mouth was wide open, and she was just grinning like an idiot, and, like, she looked so dopey and so happy. And, like, looking at that picture makes my heart feel so full. And ever since, she's been my little buddy, and we always stick together. And even on the drive home from the shelter for the first time, she did not want to be away from me for even a second. Like, I had known this dog for a couple of hours, and she was so desperate to be close to me that she was, like, trying to climb onto my lap while I was actively driving home. And so I had to drive with one hand and push her back with another, like, I'm sorry, I love you, but I can't let you sit on my lap, this is dangerous. And she was just like, I want to love you, let's be cuddle. And it's like, no, please, we're gonna crash.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
She still tries to sit on my lap when I drive if I bring her with. It is frustrating because she does not want to understand that it's dangerous, because that means she has to stop doing it. So she keeps trying to get on my lap, and the only time I ever let her do it was that first day, because she just melted my heart so much that I couldn't resist. But I've never done it again because I know it's dangerous.
Oh, love. So pretty.
Oh, speaking of cute Sadie stories, something happened recently that I never would have expected. So, if you know dogs, or even if you don't know dogs, you probably know they are very food-motivated creatures. Oh, she looked up at me when I said food. She got very curious, very interested. But yeah, Sadie's no different. She loves food, she loves mealtime, always very enthusiastic about it. Because I work the midnight shift, when I come home from work, I'm the one who feeds the dogs breakfast. And sometimes I'm like, oh, are you excited to see me, or are you excited to get your breakfast? Because it sure seems like it's the latter. But one day, I came home, and I was so tired that I just kind of forgot to feed the dogs, which isn't a big deal because we've got, like, a little chart, so people can keep track of whether the dogs have been fed or not. And because I hadn't done it, one of my brothers did. And he told me after I woke up, I had to give Sadie an extra big dinner tonight because I couldn't get her to come eat breakfast. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's so weird. She loves breakfast. I wonder why, what's going on? And he said, she'd already gotten into bed with you and would not come, not even for breakfast. She just would not leave your side. And it's like, baby, you love me more than breakfast. I didn't think you did. She loves me so much. She's so sweet. She's my silly little girl. My lovely little bunny rabbit. We don't go on walks very often, but when we do, she's terrible at walks. She's not interested in walking so much as sniffing everything, and every couple of steps stopping to pee. Absolute goober behavior. Also, that pit bull talk reminded me of when I went over to my friend's house and they had a pit bull, I think. I'm not good with dog breeds. And I have some pictures of my first time seeing this dog. She was full of love. I'll send them to you. Yes, please! Oh, there's a couple of pit bulls and variants and related dogs. I believe they're referred to collectively as bully breeds. Which is funny because they are not bullies. They are little goofballs. Little funny potatoes. Are you looking at me? Something that would make sense, but I'm not sure if it's the case, is whether French bulldogs are considered part of the bully breed. Because, like, they've got bull in the name, so you'd think so. And they are kind of potato-y, but they're also very different from pit bulls, so I don't know. That's something I'm actually going to look up after stream, because I'm kind of curious about that. It is very quickly getting dark under here. I do not want mobs spawning. Thank you very much. So one thing that's a little different from my sketch is I'd like there to be like a giant cogwheel kind of sticking out of the ground as if it's either connected to some underground mechanism or also kind of look like a water wheel, but instead of a water wheel, it's like a cog or a gear. I think that'd look really cool. I don't know. I'm still very much workshopping how I want this space to look. Because when I originally designed the cuckoo clock, it was originally going to kind of mostly stand alone, but I'm just not satisfied with that. It needs to be a city. It needs to be a big old town of clockwork and clocks and cuckoos. Oh, are you snoring? I'm sorry, I'm so loud. Oh, it's so difficult to be a Sadie. Yeah. Picture sent. I'm going to go look at them immediately. There's no time to wait. Doggy pictures cannot wait for anything. Oh my goodness! What a sweet baby! Oh, look at those big clunky feeders. That nose, the floopy ears. Oh, that's a bully, alright. Hello, baby. Oh, and this one she's leaning up to give a kiss. Oh, those big old chicken legs with the little hopper feet. Oh, so cute. Son the overachiever. I can never be satisfied. I am running out of water. It's not overachieving when you look at big Minecrafters like Foolish Gamers or anybody on Hermitcraft. And sure, they may be full-time Minecrafters, but I have much too high expectations of myself, so there. Am I out of dirt? Gosh darn it. My friend said I'd fall if I picked her up, and I proved them wrong, and the dog loved me after that. Honestly, a lot of dogs love to be baby carried. Especially when they're big babies already. Oh, she does look very happy to be picked up. Feel free to decline if you feel like it's an invasion of privacy, but I would love to know the doggy's name. I don't want to know the person's name, just the doggy. And again, if that's a no, no pressure. But this area still needs a lot of work. It's probably big enough for now. I really need to just sit down one of these days, pop open a creative world, and just kind of figure out a mock-up of everything. I'm terrible at that kind of thing because, like, I build it once in creative and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this again. I've made it. I want to do something new now. I want new engagement for my brain. And it's like, I forgot. How could you forget the puppy name? Cruel. Felix. Felix the cat. Evil. Felix evil. Hate. 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 Ow. Anywho. I just keep putting it off because I don't really enjoy rebuilding something, but I know that I'm not going to be able to figure out how I want it to look if I don't. I could ask them if you want. You can. I'd feel a little bit weird asking you to ask your friend, hey, internet person want to know your dog name. I'd feel a little silly. Though I guess I am a little silly, so what else is new? Alright, let's plug off this hole. No. Come on. No, don't hate. I'm just a little guy. A little guy who forgot the name of a beautiful doggy. Ugh, I want to go for a longer stream tonight, but I've been not streaming for a while, so now my throat is out of practice and it's feeling all sore and raspy, and it's like, oh, I want to keep going, but I feel like I'm gonna lose my voice. Let's at least replace this stone, because it is certainly not meant to be here. I really do just need to bite the bullet and hop onto a creative world to figure it out. But, like, I don't want to. Why can't things just look good the first time? Why can't I just wing things and have it turn out beautiful? Why must I actually think and analyze and treat this like real art if I want it to look like real art? Tragic. Absolutely tragic. Especially because, like, I don't really know how to use things like world edit, so I'm just slowly building it up. Just barely faster than if I were doing it in survival. Ugh. I should probably just figure out how to do world edit at this point. That, or find some other way to do mockups that's faster. Maddie Cook. Maddie or Cookie? That's so cute. Oh, what a sweet puppy doggy. Miss Maddie, you are an angel and I love your little face. I won't be sharing the pictures on stream itself because I feel like that is a violation of security, even if you do, like, whether or not, like, I haven't asked you if you would like me to, but, like, even if you are, like, chill with it, I'm not going to, just because you never know with the internet. I don't trust the internet enough. But I will say, for those who would like to know, imagine a beautiful white pitty with just the sweetest, silliest face and big old clunky paws. Like if you're wearing shoes too big for your goddamn feet, but the shoes are your feet. Ugh! I think we're gonna come over 3 more, at the very least. Let's at least do this before we hop up. I appreciate that. Yeah, even if I was good with it, like, even if I didn't feel incredibly paranoid, I would absolutely ask your permission first, but I was also raised to never trust the internet ever. So even if you were like, yeah, it's cool, you can show it on stream, I would just be like, no, I won't. What if somebody looked at the clouds and was like, oh, I know why the clouds look like that at the exact same time in that location. I know where you are. I'm gonna hunt you down. I say as if this is frickin' whatchamacallit, 2B2T. Did you know that, like, on those anarchy worlds where, like, hacking is allowed and basically required if you don't want to die, like, one of the methods that people use to find each other is if somebody posts a screenshot, they can, like, see what clouds are in the sky. And since there are, like, the way Minecraft handles clouds is kind of strange, because it's sort of like, it's not exactly, but sort of like one giant PNG that is tiled and scrolls past. Now this isn't exactly how it's handled, but, like, that's the best way I can explain it on shorthand. So, like, they know what the different clouds look like and where those clouds lay in the PNG. So if they know what direction the clouds are moving, how long the world has existed, then they can analyze where somebody is in the world. Like, what? What the fuck? What? Honestly, anarchy players are insane. Sometimes in very fascinating ways, sometimes in very typical insane ways. Like, a lot of times I've heard people compare them to, like, 4chan Reddit trolls, but, like, while they can be, like, kind of dicks a lot of the time, that's inevitable when there are no rules, including no common decency. Like, They have made insane discoveries for the sake of that. Find them from the clouds. That's not the only heavenly body they can use to locate people. Say you're careful. You don't ever post any pictures, and so nobody can use clouds to track you down. Better log out if it starts thunderstorming, because apparently certain hacked clients can locate where sounds are played. And the way thunder works in Minecraft is the audio, it's played at the location of players. So that's why even if you're down like by bedrock strip mining, you'll still hear thunder during a thunderstorm, because the sound is being played at your location. Certain hacked clients can detect where sounds are being played in the world, so they can go like, oh, okay, at this coordinate, thunder sound was played, which means there is a player at that coordinate for the thunder sound to be playing at. Like, it's insane. In some ways, Anarchy servers are like the dark mirror of super technical advanced servers like Psycraft, because like they know all these insane things, but the insane things are used exclusively for evil, and it is so fascinating. I will probably never play on an Anarchy world, particularly on stream, because there are so many things that could go wrong, and I don't want to get that kind of heat. But, like, they are so fascinating. That's kind of cool, but also so terrifying. Dude, Anarchy servers are insane. Like, the majority of portals that you'll find near spawns will be spawn trapped, so that basically, it's almost impossible to escape. Like, I believe that some Anarchy worlds, like, people will specifically spawn-proof spawn, and this doesn't stop players from spawning in, but it does stop zombies from spawning in. And you hear that and you think, oh, that's actually kind of nice. They're helping new players. No. No. That's not to help new players. That's to guarantee they can't get any food, including zombie flesh. It is not uncommon for you to starve to death before you reach the edge of spawn, just because they block out such huge areas. Like, hearing about things that happen in Anarchy worlds fascinate me. I'm emotionally kind of sensitive, so I've only played on one once, and I didn't like, oh, this is too much for my sensitive soul. Like, it was fine, but like, I was just kind of uncomfortable, because as one might expect with an Anarchy world, there were like bedrock swastikas built in random places, which, ew, hate that. But like, that kind of thing is what kind of mainly stops me from trying an Anarchy world. But like, the shit they get up to is so fascinating that I can't help but just like read Wikipedias about them and people's videos about them. Like, it is so fascinating, the kind of shit these people pull. Oh, wow. Fun fact, 2B2T, basically the entire server is borderline at war with the server owner whenever the server owner is active. Like, everybody just hates the guy. I'm not entirely sure why, but like, it's just insane. It is so fascinating. I'm just utterly drawn in. Yeah, I mean, that's completely understandable to not feel good in those worlds. Yeah, I'm not, like, even if I find it interesting, like, and it is really fascinating, I find their Minecraft cultures and their discoveries all, like, incredibly interesting, and I will always enjoy reading about it. I think I'm happier just enjoying it from the outsider perspective, because it's a lot. A lot is probably the best way to describe Anarchy worlds. There's actually this one guy, I think it's called FitMC, who does YouTube videos about like the history and other stuff about 2B2T, which is like the biggest and most famous Anarchy server. I'll send you one of his videos because it is some fascinating stuff. That said though, my throat really is about to give out. I thought I could go longer, but clearly I have not been exercising my vocal cords. So we're gonna call it there for today, and I will see you all on Wednesday. We might be playing a different game depending on how things go, or maybe more Minecraft. We will see. First though, actually, there is one more thing I need to do. So I've got a couple of these folks named. I haven't named this dog yet. I need to get around to that. But Mind, Ninja, Rennie, and Apple, all of them, except for Apple, who was named after a character, are named after people who are following. So, Felix, I'm going to name my doggy after you. It's not a cat, but oh well. I need Felix Kitty Cat the doggy. Oh, Felix Kitty Cat. And we will name the doggy who we rescued from the 1x1 hole today. If you want a certain dye for the collar, Felix, let me know. Here you go, puppy. Rest your voice, dude. I will. And with that, I'm heading to bed. Let me know if you want a certain dye color, and I will get it. Good night. Yeah.